Hi guys, this is Vixxstarr and today I'm going to show you how to make this super cool Batman sign mini mural. I absolutely love this design. There's so many of these available. Just Google or jump on Bracelet Book. There are heaps. I found one and I chopped it down and I've shared it on my Facebook page so you can find it there. That is the one that I use for this design. I have scribbled all over it. Blah blah blah. But you will see that anyway. And yeah, let's get into it, get started and make ourselves a super cool double banded squishy Batman sign. So this is the design. I found it by just Googling. There are so many also available on Bracelet Book. I have shared this on my Facebook to make it easier for you guys to find, but as you can see it's really hard for me to get it all in my screenshot. So it is 12 by 17, so 12 pegs will just fit on one loom. So it is almost the biggest mini mural that you can do on one loom without having to do it in parts and join it. So yeah, I am under limited time as usual, so we are going to try and smash this out as quick as possible. I will be using single bands, double single bands, so not cap bands. It will be a nice chunky little mini mural, and you can hopefully follow on with me. You will need to pause, possibly rewind, but yeah, so let's get into it. For my design today, I will be using just a black and a yellow. They're cheap silicone bands that I got from a $2 shop, so I have quite a few that I can use, but I know they're not going to last. They do have a little bit more stretch than the Rainbow Loom, so these ones, my black, I'm going to also be using for my crossbands, and I've decided I'm going to stretch them 6 pegs wide. So normally with Rainbow Loom, if we're double banding, I would only go 5, but because these are a bit stretchier, you can see I can quite easily go the 6, and then I've still got quite a lot more stretch there, so I think that will be good. I'm going to go 6 and then overlap 3, and then again overlap 3 with 6. So that's what my cross banding is going to be like. 6, 6, 6 with the 3 overlapping. I think my tension should be good. Band count approximates for Batman mural: 168 yellow, 288 for the black. I have actually included an extra strip at the start and the end of just black, starting and finishing, and then plus 51 crossbands, so I'm going to make my crossbands black as well, like I just said for this one today. I'll be using just my basic 2 rows of pegs configuration, straight in line next to each other, working with my grid design from top to bottom and left to right. Same as normal. Sorry I can't get this whole picture in my screenshot, but hopefully you can find that on my Facebook and have it up on your screen on your laptop, or print it out like I have. I'll be working with you to help you. So just as we normally would, placing one single band from the first peg to the second peg. Then we'll be working in double bands. So we're just going to do a row of black double bands all the way down to the end. So 2 bands, 2 bands, 2 bands, straight line. And when you get to the end, we're going to do a cap. So last peg, 2 bands. For my end cap band, I'm just going to use 2 single bands, and I'm just going to double them onto the hook. So they look, onto the peg. So they look a little bit loose, but they'll be fine. Now grab your hook, looming behind those 2 bands, that cap band, and grabbing the 2 bottom bands. Just loom that whole chain back up onto itself. Making sure you don't lose any of your bands, of course. Just fix mine up a little bit. Popping them off the pegs. Okay, so all the way up to the top. When you get to your last band, it's just a single band. And we're just going to slip knot that single band. So bringing the bottom over the top, pull it tight, and then just chuck that up on that one to get it out of the way. You should have a chain, straight black bands going across your 12 pegs. Push that chain down. Now what we're going to do is our first row of our design, which here you can see hopefully 3 black, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 yellow, and then another 3 black. Starting from the top, so I'll say my arrow is up here at the top. There's my arrow, pardon me there. Taking just 2 single bands. First peg is our top square, and just placing from one peg to the other. Second peg is our second square. Third peg is our third square. Well, it's actually our 4th peg, but it's our 3rd peg on our chain. So we've got black, black, black. Now we're going to do 6 yellow and then another 3 black. So following on with 2 single yellow, 2 single yellow, 2 single yellow. Oh, flicked one up myself. I'm good at that lately. A bit of a messy loomer if you haven't picked up already. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then 6. So we should have 3 left, and they're going to be 2 single black. So now we're just going to start bringing our whole bottom row from the outside up and into the middle on each peg. Sorry about my lighting, guys. It's just one of those things, isn't it? So bringing the whole row of your chain up and over into the middle of that row of the design that we just lay out. So all the way down those outside bands, up and over the top, making sure you don't lose any of your bands from the top. Push all of your bands down, and you should just have that row there that we lay out, which is our first row of our design. We're going to go on to our second, but we want to lay down our crossbands. So like I said, I'm going to use 3. So my first crossband is going to run from that second peg, which is the first peg of our design, 6. So it will go across the 3 black and then across 3 of the yellow there. The next one's going to go across from where the yellow starts, so 1, 2, 3 overlapping, and the next 3 of the yellow, and the last one will be starting the last 3 of the yellow overlapping the last 3 of the black. So I hope you got that and you can see that there. with your crossbands. Now we're going to lay our next row of the design. It will be 2 black, black, and then we will have 8 yellow, so double yellows for 8. Double yellows, double yellows. So you can do this design in single bands if you want to. I just really love the way it comes out when it's double banded. It's so squishy and soft, fun. So coming up to the last couple of yellow. We've got 2 black on the end. So double black, double black. So now you've got your bottom row, was the first row of the design. You've got the crossbands in the middle there, and then the next row of the design on the top. Firstly, we want to start by bringing up those crossbands. So the last crossband that you put down is going to come up first, up and over and into the center. The next one, making sure you don't lose any of your top bands, up and over into the center, and your last one, up and over into the center. So there's your crossbands up. Now you're going to work that whole bottom row of the pattern of the design from the outside, up and over, down the whole row. So those 2 bottom bands, up and over the 2 top bands. So all the way down one side. I've just done that all the way down one side. I'm going to do it all the way back up the other side. So those bottom 2 bands, up and over and into the middle. So working with just single bands, 2 single bands, it is a looser design, but like I said, the outcome is quite nice. So there we go, you've just got that one row, which is the second row of the design we lay out. Now we're going to lay our crossbands yet again. So the first one will be going from that first peg of our design, so our second peg, 6. The second one is overlapping 3 and going for 6, and the last one is overlapping 3 and going for 6. Moving on to our next row in our design. This is going to get a lot harder for me to show you on camera. Might have to move it kind of. Sorry guys, I don't have a lot of space to work with. Also makes me have crappy lighting. Okay, so I've grabbed this piece of paper, a bit easier to see. We are up to this 3rd line, and it is 2 black on the outside. So this is also partly a mirrored design. You can see it goes 2 black, 2 yellow, 4 black, 2 yellow, 2 black. So that is a mirrored line. So you can start from either side. You know you've got 2 black on the outside pegs, 2 black on the outside pegs. Then we've got 2 yellow next to those. This isn't working very well, is it? So 2 yellow and 2 yellow on this side. And then in the middle is all black. in the middle now is all black, so black, 2 black, 2 black, 2 black. So we've got our bottom row, which was the previous line that we lay out. We've just done this one on the top, and we've got our crossbands in between. So starting from that last crossband that you lay out, the end one, grabbing it on the outside and bringing it up over into the middle, the next crossband up and into the middle, and not losing any of your bands off the pegs, that third last band, crossband. So now we're moving on to our bottom row and bringing that up over into the middle, just like we did last time from the outside. Bottom 2 bands all the way down, all the way down to the bottom, and then back up the other side. Just those 2 bottom bands, the last row of the design. All the way up the top to those last ones. So push them all down again. So all you've got now is that last row that we just laid out, which was our 3rd row of our design. That one there. So I'll pop that up to there. We've got to do black, 2 yellow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 black, 2 yellow, and then a black again. So popping down our crossbands, starting from the left, going 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, overlapping 3 and going 6 again, overlapping those 3, last 6. So now we're going to lay our next row, starting with black. So black, and then yellow for 2 pegs, yellow, yellow, and then black. Dropping bands everywhere today. Black, 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 and 2 black, and then we've got the 2 yellow for 2 pegs, and the last one is a black. 2 single black. Okay, so going for those crossbands again, and it sounds like we're getting another storm. Bringing up those first crossband, second crossband, and third crossband up into the center. Now working that bottom row of the design up and over and into the middle. All the way down one side, all the way down, bringing that bottom row up and over into the middle, and then the other side, the same thing, bottom 2 bands, up and over the top 2 bands. All the way up, so you've got that whole bottom row up over the top into the middle. Push all your bands down. Should be able to remove that last little band that we had there, just that slip knot band. Your design is starting to feed through the middle there, as you can see. Now that red arrow is to remind you that that's the top of your design where you're working from, so if you put it down and come back to it, you know where you are without getting too confused. I've put mine in a slip book so that I can draw over the lines, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a quick shot of that design on the screen. I want you to follow on. We have just done 1, 2, 3, 4. So you should be able to count. Counting down 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of your bands, and the fourth one is on here, not counting that bottom chain. That's where we're up to on the design. So our next row is the 5th row. I want you to keep going, laying your crossbands in between, putting down the next row, then working your crossbands up and over, working the bottom row up and over. I'm going to keep filming myself, but I'm going to fast forward, and I want to have you do the same thing. Keep going. When we get to the end, I will meet up with you and we will finish it off. So once again, laying my crossbands, 6 pegs, overlapping 3, 6 pegs, overlapping 3, 6 pegs. Now onto 5th row, which is that one there. I'm going to lay that out. I'm going to fast forward. I want you to try and follow on with me as best as you can. Pause it, rewind it if you need to, and I'll see you soon and we'll finish off our mural. I've just done a couple more rows. I'm up to my 8th line. I can now pull the bottom of my pattern just through the bottom. You don't want to overstretch it too much. As it gets longer, you will be able to see it more, obviously. So I'm just going to keep going, laying my crossbands and then laying my next row of my pattern. So I've just done a couple more lines. I'm up to the line that's in the middle of my bat. You should now be able to push all your bands down and also use the inside a little bit to pull them through and give your design a little bit more leverage in there as well, I guess. If that's the word for it, I don't think so. Anyway, so I've just got that one row on the bottom there because I've just flipped all of my bands over from the previous row, and I'm just going to carry on with that center row, keep going, putting my 3 cross bands down and then popping that next row of bands. Also, you may be able to notice that your design is bunching up quite a lot at the moment. Now the reason for your bands bunching up at the moment is because it is still so close to the loom. It may not be a tension issue, especially because if you are getting these gaps, that means that there is plenty of room on there for the bands to move. We're still stretched out along 12 pegs. So just remember that. Once you get it down and off, these rows, these bottom rows, are going to settle down quite a lot. So just give it a chance and keep going, and I will see you in a moment. Putting down your rows, bringing your bottom over the top. Keep on going and I'll meet you when I get to the end and we will finish off and close up. Okay, so I've just done this line. I've got 3 lines of my pattern to go. This is how it's looking so far. You can see we still have those gaps there, but as it comes down to the bottom, they're almost completely disappeared already. So once you get it off the loom, it's going to look even better. I'm still just doing exactly the same thing, laying my 3 crossbands and then laying out each square of my design down on there, then bringing my bottom row up over the top. So I'll do those last 3 rows, I'll do that last row, bring it up over the top, and I'll meet back with you to add our last completely black row to close it off. So keep going with the rest of your pattern and I'll see you in a moment. So I've just laid out my last row of my pattern. Don't need this anymore. I've got that there. So bringing up those last crossbands, middle crossbands, top ones, and we're going to work up that last row exactly the way we have been for our whole design. Straight down one side and straight down the other. And as you can see, it's come through the bottom quite nicely. Now once we get to the end of this row, push all of your bands down. All your bands down, all your bands down. Pull it through the bottom. You can see that awesome design coming through there. I love it. I love it. I love it. Alright, so there's our arrow there, still going the same way. We're just going to lay down a full row like we did at the start, except straight across the bands, of just double blacks. So no crossbands, just 2 single blacks on each peg, straight down to the end. I've been throwing bands everywhere throughout this project. Not purposely. So 2 black bands, 2 black bands, 2 black bands. All the way down to the last peg, or set of pegs, should I say. We're going to bring that last row that's along the bottom, that was our design, up and over into the middle, making sure we don't lose any of those bands off the top row. Straight down one side, just like we have been, and the other side. Now finishing this off is really quite easy. It is the same technique that I have been using when I pull it off the pegs onto my hooks, but I saw another lovely chickie who has remade one of my tutorials in Dutch do it this way, and I thought, that's really smart. So to close this off, what I want you to do is basically take both of these bands and put them onto that peg. So keeping those bands on the bottom at that peg, grab your bottom bands and place them up onto that peg like so. Grab these bands, place them onto that peg without twisting them too much, obviously. So that's what you should have. Now I want you to reach in behind those bands that we've just put on there and grab those 2 bottom bands, grab them up and place them on the one next to it. So now what we're going to do is going to grab those bands, move them up onto that top peg like so. Did you see that? Moved all those bands onto that next peg. We're going to reach in behind those bands and grab those 2 on the bottom, bring them up and over onto the other side. So now what I want you to do is the same thing. Grab them off, put them over onto that top peg, grab those 2 off the bottom, bring them back over onto here. So do it again. Take them off, pop them next top peg, grabbing the 2 off the bottom, placing them up on the next, grabbing all of those off, up onto the next top peg above that, grabbing those 2 off the bottom, over onto the side, grabbing all those pegs, all those bands off that peg, up onto the next, grabbing the 2 through those bands, the 2 off the bottom onto its opposing peg, then again grabbing all those bands off that peg onto the next top opposite side, grabbing the bottom bands through those under its opposing peg, grabbing those bands off, putting them on the next above, grabbing the 2 bottom bands under there, across to their opposing peg, grabbing all of those, back onto the next peg above, then grabbing the 2 bottom off to the side, grabbing all of those, up onto the next peg, through those, the 2 off the bottom, off to the side, then grabbing all of those once again, the next top peg, grabbing the 2 off the bottom, off to the side. We're at the end. grab 2 single bands, putting your hook through there, pull those bands through and slip knot them. So now you can remove all of those off the pegs. Remove your whole design off, pull it through, and there we have, without even stretching it yet, only a couple of little gaps. So what we'll do is we'll just pull in between all of those, so the 3 in the middle were overlapping with those crossbands, those 3 were overlapping, so just stretch them out firmly but gently. Stretch your whole design out. So there you go, guys. There is your Batman mini mural. It could be a bag tag, it could be whatever you like, I guess. This single band at the end here, you don't really need that. That was just showing us at the start where we were starting and holding our bands in place. Yeah, it's really up to you where you could take this. You could use any design, any grid design, and make your own mini murals. This is just one of many techniques that there are around in doing this sort of thing. Those last couple of bands up the end there, you can tuck them into your design and hide them because they're closing it off. But that's that end that we just finished off. And there's the one we started with. They both look pretty good. You know, you could even make, if you are able to get a bigger loom, you know, like a wool loom. Here is my wool loom. It is got about 39 pegs in it at the moment, I think, so you can do much bigger projects. Exactly same technique. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please like, subscribe and share your creations with me. Hashtag Vixxstarr. Find me on Facebook and Instagram. I would love to see all of your renditions, and yeah, let me know what you thought. Till next time, see you later, guys.